The meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Japan's newly elected Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi in Tokyo served as a high-profile demonstration of alliance solidarity and personal chemistry. The event, Takaichi's international debut, was characterized by effusive praise from both sides. President Trump complimented Takaichi on her very strong handshake and hailed her historic position as Japan's first female prime minister. The most striking diplomatic moment was Takaichi's announced intention to nominate President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. She credited his efforts in securing a recent ceasefire in the Gaza conflict and facilitating a peace deal between Thailand and Cambodia, stating that the world was beginning to enjoy more peace due to his actions. Crucially, the warm rhetoric was paired with concrete strategic action. The two leaders signed a significant agreement focused on securing and diversifying the global supply of critical minerals and rare earths, explicitly aimed at reducing reliance on China and strengthening technological resilience. Analysis. Reasons and consequences. Motivations and reasons. The primary motivation behind Prime Minister Takaichi's actions was strategic assurance and political continuity. By offering the highly symbolic Nobel Peace Prize nomination, Takaichi was securing immediate goodwill from President Trump, effectively safeguarding Japan from potential trade frictions or demands. This maneuver mirrored the successful Gulf diplomacy established by her late mentor, former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who also leveraged personal rapport to manage the often transactional nature of the U.S. relationship. Secondly, the gesture was aimed at securing a vital economic deal. The Critical Minerals Agreement is essential for Japan's advanced technology sector, which relies heavily on rare earths. Partnering with the U.S. to build resilient supply chains ensures Japan's future economic stability and technological independence, making the Nobel Nod a relatively low-cost diplomatic lubricant for a high-value strategic agreement. Consequences and significance. The most immediate consequence is the reinforcement of the U.S.-Japan security and economic alliance under new Japanese leadership. This stability is paramount for the Indo-Pacific region as geopolitical competition with China intensifies. For President Trump, the nomination provides a significant political narrative, one of a president of peace, that plays well to his domestic base and enhances his image on the global stage, regardless of whether he ultimately wins the award. It adds to a growing list of nominations, validating his claims of global peacemaking. However, this act also reinforces the perception among critics that the Nobel Peace Prize nomination process can be weaponized for diplomatic flattery, potentially devaluing the honor itself. The critical minerals deal is perhaps the most enduring and tangible consequence, setting a precedent for allied cooperation against supply chain vulnerabilities. It signifies a concrete step towards diversifying global resource dependencies, which will have long-term implications for the electric vehicle, defense, and high-tech industries worldwide. Predictions and recommendations. Solutions. Predictions. Institutionalization of economic security. The immediate focus will shift to rapidly implementing the critical minerals framework. We can predict increased joint investment and exploration projects in allied nations to secure supply. Continue diplomatic exchanges. Takaichi is likely to enjoy a honeymoon period with Washington, leveraging the personal connection established during this meeting to smooth over any future policy disagreements, particularly concerning defense burden sharing or regional trade policies. Political utilization. President Trump will frequently reference the Japanese nomination in both domestic and international settings, bolstering his image as a global statesman in the run-up to future political engagements. The actual Nobel Prize decision will remain a source of dramatic speculation until the next cycle. Recommendations. Solutions for the alliance. Multilateral expansion of supply chain security. The U.S. and Japan must move beyond a purely bilateral focus on critical minerals. They should actively expand this cooperation into the Quad framework, including Australia and India, to create a truly resilient, diversified, and sustainable supply chain network that is difficult for any single nation to disrupt. Focus on substance over ceremony. While personal rapport is helpful, the alliance must ensure the relationship is rooted in shared strategic goals rather than personality. Both nations should institutionalize dialogue on high-stakes issues like quantum computing, AI, and regional defense planning to guarantee long-term alignment, regardless of future leadership changes. Address trade headwinds proactively. To prevent the positive momentum from stalling, both leaders should establish clear, consistent communication channels to preemptively address trade imbalances or disputes before they escalate, ensuring the economic relationship remains mutually beneficial and serves as a pillar of the alliance.